A very good evening. You tuned in to UBC TV. Welcome to UBC News Tonight. This very first Monday of the month of May, today being the 5th of May 2023. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakoni joins in for sign language. We'll start with a look at the top stories. President Yoweri Museveni underscores the need to substitute plastics with paper bags. The FDC wants the State of the Nation address to tackle health and education sectors. Police summons Sheikh Yunus Kamoga for allegedly operating an unlicensed training center. While Uganda shilling 300 million earmarked to reward best sports journalists. Yes, we thank you so much for watching. It's the 5th of June 2023. I had to correct that. Now, in a first story this evening, scores of ADF rebels have surrendered to the UPDF forces after making heavy bombardment on the ADF stronghold base of Mwalika Valley. Our reporter Haruna Mtesasra had an engagement with the ADF Kadogos who were captured alive in the crossfires, and they recounted their jungle life. We have details here.
In the remote areas of Mwalika Valley, North Kivu, in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where ADF rebels have been surviving and thriving, Mwalika has been a food basket for ADF for 15 years. On many occasions, they forced Congolese farmers to pay 50% of their produce to avoid being killed. Major General Dekolum, the Operation Soja Commander, directed the Brigade Commander 301 Brigade, Lieutenant Colonel Jet Liabe, to deploy forces in the general areas of Mwalika Valley to foil ADF attacks. The 15th Battalion, commanded by Major Agaba Winston, took on the mantle in Mwalika Valley and along Yisale Hills. Heavy and multiple bombardments followed from different sides. The 15th Battalion under Winston Agaba, Brigade Headquarters under Lieutenant Colonel Jet Liabe, and 1st Battalion under Major Mbauta deployed troops on the other side, which eventually suffocated the ADF. In the battle along River Talia, ADF lost a number of fighters. Those who survived surrendered to the 15th Battalion forward base with guns loaded. Moise Olivier, 13 years, Jakiso Patrick, 12 years, and Safari Jeremy, 14, among those who survived and surrendered with 3 SMG guns. After their capture, subjected to interrogations, but later accepted to lead and guided intelligence to the enemy hideouts in the areas of Livataria, Kalingati, Mamaluta, and Kauma, where the ADF was again engaged in a fruitful and successful battle.
Kwa seka baruku wakatukabidha amiri, tufika kwa mzee Muraro wakatufanyisha mafunzo. Kufika pale kufanya mafunzo wakiona tunaanza kukamilika mo kidogo tupatia sira.
Moise Olivier, 13 years, Jackson Patrick, 12 years, and Safari Jeremy, 14, the captives, revealed that the ADF had a devastating effect on young children who are frequent target for abduction. The trio claims that they were abducted from Busei and Malongo and were recruited into the ADF against their will to carry out atrocities. They were confident and strong when asked anything about the war.
Others have come out without guns. So this has been the sign of pressure that the UPDF has exerted on them. And I am so sure in the next 7 days, there will be more to that. There may be a lot of defections that will come in place, and we expect to get more of these defections, and of course that will be an achievement for us. And once they come out, these kids give us a lot of intelligence, and this intelligence is what we use to look for these guys and decimate them wherever they are.
The majority of these young ADF soldiers are Congolese who managed to escape but struggle with the emotional trauma of violence they were exposed to. The Operation Suja command structure has the obligation to rehabilitate these former combatants into ordinary life. Haruna Mtesa reporting in Eastern Congo.
The Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, wants the State of the Nation address to tackle health and education sectors and also ensure the sector's services reach people at the grassroots. The FDC president, Patrick Oboi Amriat, told the media at the party headquarters in Najanankumbi that giving scientists preferential treatment has not worked and the address needs to also tackle corruption.
President Yoweri Museveni addresses the 38th State of the Nation address this week, and the president for Forum for Democratic Change Party, Engineer Patrick Oboi Amriat, has raised key issues. Amriat wants the State of the Nation address highlight measures to address strikes by medical workers and interns.
An equalization of provision of health services across all citizens to be exercised in this country. That a peasant from Kanungu can access treatment for cancer not very far from his community or her community.
He was disappointed by the soaring costs of education in the country and called upon government to equalize the sector. On the priorities of the budget, Amriat wants government to fund the production sector.
Is it possible for a section of the population to take their children to kindergarten at a cost of 5 million per term, and yet a child coming from the rural area is unable to pay the nominal fee of 100,000 in order to attend secondary education? Expect him to announce cuts in the huge cost of administration in this country, and it will be fair to Ugandans that this money put in the production sector.
Patrick Oboi Amriat says one of the challenges the country is facing are the losses experienced through corruption.
Of the Mabati that was taken away from the most needy people of this country still continues to show preferential treatment of different officials, as if this will begin to believe that there are people who are untouchable in this country. When it comes to addressing corruption as a vice.
Meanwhile, FDC reacted to reports in the media about internal conflicts of some party heads conflicting over the position of president. However, Amriat does not think such conflicts exist in the party.
It is true that, at the site of any election, there's always going to be bound to be pulling and pushing. But that does not mean there is a conflict within the party. That is bigger than the conflict resolution mechanisms.
FDC has completed nominations, and Sam Oita Odeke will represent the party for chairperson Bokedea by elections. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lukomwa.
Sheikh Yunus Kamoga has been summoned by police for allegedly operating an unlicensed training center at his home in Kawempe, Kampala division. According to Fred Enanga, the police spokesperson, this training center is suspected to promote radical Islamic teachings. It has been found that 32 young adults are being unlawfully accommodated in the center, as Nasir Lukomwa reports.
The training center established by Sheikh Yunus Kamoga in his home in Kawempe Tula, a suburb of Kampala, has come under scrutiny. It is believed the training center focuses on indoctrinating Sharia law among the young people. The police picked interest in investigating the center following reports of missing children.
So as we talk today, we continue to investigate the alleged unlawful confinement of youth and adults, about 32 of them, who were found at Sheikh Karamoja Yusufu's home.
Sheikh Karamoja has been summoned for operating the training center without the proper mandate from the Ministry of Education and Sports.
We also have arrangements in place to record a statement from Sheikh Karamoja, his school administrators, and all the parents to the 32 victims.
Authorities are concerned about the potential radicalization and the recruitment of young individuals into criminal activities through such training centers.
Like we've seen in the past, where we've had challenges with unregistered schools that were involved in the radicalization, in the recruitment, radicalization of children into acts of extremism.
CMI conducted an operation and discovered improvised explosive making materials in the possession of Sheikh Ismail Kalule. Investigations to the matter are ongoing.
Some of which were recovered from his pharmacy.
Furthermore, the Ugandan police have recovered a stolen radioactive source from the China Civil Engineering Construction Company in Impiji district. 3 factory lab experts have been arrested for their involvement in the crime.
The 3 lab experts had conspired and moved the radioactive sources out of the restricted stores and concealed it in packaging bags, which they hid in a rented and unauthorized room.
The Inspector General Police, John Martins Okoth Ochola, has directed police territorial commanders to document records from victims of mob justice before placing them in custody. This directive comes in response to accusations of police torture against suspects. It should be noted that the police have been reported to the Uganda Human Rights Commission and other humanitarian organizations on several occasions for alleged mistreatment of detainees, both in cells and during interrogations. Abdul Nasser Luwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
Abdul Nasser Luwama. President Yoweri Museveni has underscored the need to substitute plastics with paper bags in the drive to protect the environment. In a speech read for him by Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, Museveni highlights packing materials made of banana leaves, paper bags as those that should replace polythene bags. Nabanja was speaking at the commemoration of the World Environment Day at Kololo Independence Grounds.
In a speech read by Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has emphasized the reason to replace kavera with local material in the fight against plastics.
Of local alternatives to the use of plastics. For example, packing materials made out of papaya leaves, banana fiber, etc. These are environmentally friendly. Paper bags and fabric bags can replace kavera. The propaganda and the propagation of the use of alternative fuels will help to stop encroachment on our forest reserves for wood fuel.
A report released by National Environmental Authority has revealed that at least 57,000 tons of plastics are not collected. Thus, the call to turn to recycling.
330 metric tons of PET plastics as of since 2018. In the Kampala metropolitan area alone, over 135 tons of plastic waste is generated per year. Legacy plastics that is already in the environment, and we must strive to stop further production of virgin single-use plastics so that we can recycle those we already have in the environment.
Of plastic to produce 1.7 liters of petrol, diesel, and other components, as I mentioned, mercury and plus natural gas.
In a move to restoring the environment, there is need to restore the wetland and forest cover, as the current wetland cover is at 9.3% compared to 8% in 2019.
We've seen the forest cover improve from 9.5% in 2015 to now 13.3% today, on track to achieve the 15% forest cover by 2040 as expected by the National Development Plan.
Maria Nwomcha, UBC News.
Police have taken Tugume Kadili, a security guard at Meru fuel station in Chiwanga, Mukono district, into custody following the shooting death of a UCU student. According to reports, the two individuals had a confrontation that ultimately led to the guard firing a fatal bullet, claiming Agaba's life. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, Ivan Kahwa reports that 54 students from Old Kampala have been apprehended for possession of narcotics.
A recent police investigation has revealed that Agaba Ruden, a 25-year-old UCU student, was tragically shot dead by a security guard while attempting to climb the fence of Meru fuel station to measure a neighboring land.
It is alleged that he was there at the scene with a group of people who are trying to take measurements in the land that was just adjacent to the fuel station, and the bitter exchange occurred between the two. Unfortunately, due to poor judgment of this security guard, he discharged a bullet.
Tugume Kadiri, the security guard, has been apprehended in connection with the incident. Cartridge casings and the firearm used in the shooting have been recovered to assist in the ongoing investigations.
However, we are also looking into the security guard and also his employers on his level of training and also on his character, on how he has been behaving.
The incident occurred just weeks after another UCU student was fatally wounded when she mistakenly tried to open a police officer's door, thinking it was her boyfriend's apartment still in Mukono. Meanwhile, the police conducted a targeted operation in Nansana, resulting in the arrest of 54 students from Old Kampala Senior Secondary School. These students were found in possession of illicit substances.
These children or students had organized the house party where we managed to recover shisha pots, mairunji, alcohol, and many other intoxicants. You should know that these are students and they had gathered up doing all sorts of bad behavior. So they are still with us at Muluviji police station as we work around identifying their parents and also informing the school in general about this kind of behavior.
In the Namugongo crime report, a total of 140 suspects have been apprehended in connection with various theft cases, with 130 incidents specifically related to phone theft. 45 children have been successfully reunited with their parents. The police are currently working diligently to organize transportation arrangements for 22 stranded pilgrims at the Catholic shrine. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Government has been called upon to engage informal workers in collection of plastics to conserve the environment. This was communicated by the civil society organizations in conserving the environment, among others. The Environment Shield and Juakali initiative has told the media in Kampala that commemorating the World Environment Day holds a gift to their services.
Uganda has joined the world to commemorate the World Environment Day, held on 5th June every year. The World Environment Day for the year 2023 is held under the theme, Solution to Plastic Pollution. The theme is a reminder to people's action on plastic material into water bodies, soil and environment. The Environment Shield and Juakali initiative, civil society organizations, have joined the world in commemorating the Environment Day. Basing on the theme of the year, civil society organizations now want government to engage garbage collectors and informal workers in conserving the environment.
If informal workers are organized into associations, they can go and borrow or get loans. I have this bag here. When you look at its material, it is made of straws. She's a home-based worker. And then afterwards, she comes on the street, finds where to sit, and then starts selling.
If we are to beat plastic pollution, we have to work together with our community to prevent this littering of plastics in our community. We can say no to plastic pollution, and we say yes to recycling, reusing, and reorienting the plastics we use.
Heads of workers and vendors, including those who collect plastics in Kampala, who attended the press conference, highlighted the benefits of recycling plastics.
Bino ebintu byanditegeereddwa eggwanga byanditeereddwa ne ku silabasi ne biyigirizibwa mu masomero ensi nemanya omugaso gw'obutonde nemanya omugaso gwa bino ebintu kubanga biyamba ffe bwe tubikozesa bwe tubikola era ffe tugenda obikozesa ate bwe tubisuula biba bigenda kukosa ffe.
Ate abatembeeyi bennyini be bakola omulimo gw'okubulonda obucupa naye bwe tubulonda ne tubukungaanya mu biveera eyo downtown tewaliyo baketi omw'okuteeka kasasiro kati ne tubeera nga tusoomoozebwa nga City Council ejja negamba ekwata abatembeeyi boonoona ekibuga naye nga abatembeeyi baali badde bayambako okulonda obucupa ne tubusula mu kasasiro nga kasasiro zo zennyini teziriiyo.
They urged the public to conserve the environment.
Our health depends on a healthy environment. So if we ignore the call to beat plastic pollution and other crises like the climate emergency and biodiversity loss, then we shall have a collapse of the economy and our climate will go in dire straits. And what you're seeing in terms of flooding in Kampala and across the country, mudslides, landslides, rivers breaking like recently Katonga, all these are climate driven.
According to the research conducted by NEMA, 60% of the plastics are poorly disposed of, which affects the environment. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabogudde, UBC News.
Susan Nabogudde and Deborah Namamonde there with the environment suggestions. Here comes a short break. Enjoy it, but do not go away.
Jerry con! Jerry con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best movies I teach you. When I go to the Muscari, because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? It's serious, you. What? Yeah? Just type it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
This
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. Her reason to imagine is slay. His reason is to be the GOAT. Theirs is to take the beat and make it lit. They want to test edgy till it is fire. Their reason for imagination is to add riz in style. Her reason to imagine is finesse. And hers is to find what's new and bussin'. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone and dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Choose between school pay, peg pay, or shore pay. Enter student number. Enter amount, confirm name and transaction. Enter Airtel Money PIN. A confirmation message will be sent to you upon a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Are you ready to make a positive impact on our environment? Mark your calendars because World Environment Day 2023 is around the corner. The National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, calls upon all Ugandans to join millions of people across the globe to commemorate World Environment Day on 5th June 2023 under the theme Stop Plastic Pollution. There will be an exhibition on the theme at Kololo Ceremonial Ground. The celebration will be combined with the International Day for Biodiversity 2023. This is how you can get involved. Spread the word in your community. Participate in cleanups in your neighborhood. Plant a tree. Opt for alternatives to Kavela. Recycle, reuse, and repurpose plastic. Let your actions inspire others to follow the suit. NEMA, ensuring sustainable development in partnership with Uganda Biodiversity Fund and the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. Government Chief Whip Hampton Obua has implored NRM MPs to embrace the resolutions as guided by the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, during the concluded NRM caucus in Changwanzi. Obua was addressing a press conference in Parliament, highlighting major resolutions in the Changwanzi caucus, including the mass participation of mobilizing the population on the PDM and the Myoga programs.
members committed to relentlessly support the fight against corruption wherever it manifests itself and to maximally support all institutions involved in the fight against corruption was very, very successful. We achieved what we intended to achieve through this retreat. I wish to state that from the perspective of the national chairperson of NRM and the President of the Republic of Uganda, in a nutshell, he emphasized on 4 areas. One is that the members of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus should adopt the NRA/NRM historical mission of transforming Uganda from a traditional society to modernity. 2, he emphasized the question of ideology, strategy, policy implementation, and administrative cohesion of the members of the NRM, both within the caucus and beyond. 3, he emphasized the role of leaders in actively mobilizing, participating, popularizing, and monitoring the 2 NRM flagship programs, that is Emyoga and PDM, because under Emyoga, 1.2 billion shillings has been injected. He emphasized the guiding principles of the NRM: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Now, members supported the proposal of His Excellency the President on value addition on coffee, value addition on sugar, including the question of production and processing. Members also approved the fact that as leaders, we play a very, very critical role in ensuring that the Ugandan people benefit from the different programs that we have that are aimed at alleviating poverty through enhancing household income and the question of socioeconomic transformation. On the issue of the private members' bill, this presentation was made by the learned Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda. And this presentation was anchored, 1, on the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, specifically Article 94. 2, on the practice of the NRM caucus. And 3, on the precedent that caucus has set over time. To start with the law,
UBC News Tonight, that's the Honorable Hanson Oboa, the government chief whip in Parliament. Leaders of the MK movement under team chairman Toyota Mike Nwajira have launched their structures in Jinja City. Hajmudi Basadi, Busoga regional chairperson MK movement, while launching the structures in Jinja City, said that they are aiming at gathering support come the year 2026.
The team led by Hajmudi Basadi, Busoga chairperson, and Balondem Dennis, the Busoga regional coordinator, are in Jinja City to launch the structures. Hajmudi Basadi, the Busoga regional chairperson MK movement, while launching the structures, said they are preparing for 2026.
Principles da ife bantu bana Uganda kwega itanga tibalinga mu ndikiza da byafuzi kwega itanga tibalinga madini gabagwamu mu mbere fano tidayo so abali kukontagana bakifire kimena kya byafuzi esegeza bakalifu na ideology ya ife ayi buli yetu kubitana twino norwa ngara tukulemberwa ariko ndimane songa da head of ideology ngati ni coordinator wa Mayuge mukuru Joshua Chakuva aligeza kwinola abantu nife twinola abantu bategera abakulwanagana tukali tukabwe bali etutuka kutuda kuva matibalwanagana.
However, Last week, President Museveni told the NRM caucus retreat that the rise to prominence of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is as a result of internal weaknesses within the party structure, but warned the Muhoozi clique to avoid doing things that contradict NRM principles. This has not stopped the MK movement from carrying out their mass mobilization and establishing political structures ahead of the 2026 presidential polls. Haji Mudiba urged the newly appointed members of MK movement structures to remain focused and avoid moving to different groups.
So our team chairman MK movement musigale nga muli team chairman MK movement lekebe ngeri ebine bido kwidanga bizane njire fano tuneyo tusigale nge chika chaife necho nekisinde cha team chairman MK movement kisinde kiri kwetegeka nga twetegekere mbera yone sulu kubawo.
Chakuva Joshua, the Busoga spokesperson, at the same time, the coordinator Mayuge district says they aim at seeing a peaceful transition of power from a revolutionary leader to a generation leader, something which has never happened in this country.
Because one, opposition abantu abasinga abalimu, those who fall in opposition, bantu bakulwana talo wezito MK movement eringa continuation ya NRM.
The newly appointed members say they are determined to traverse villages and parishes to mobilize support for General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
Ekibirwa kyaffe okuviira ddala waggulu mpaka ku ground ku byalo kyakuba nti tulwanyisa enguzi.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Elders and political leaders in the volatile Karamoja region say that the presidential executive orders can only be successful if it spells out alternative means of surviving in the region, stating that most of the culprits resort to charcoal burning to make two ends meet in life due to high levels of poverty. Speaking in an interview, they told our reporter that massive sensitization of the public on the dangers of charcoal burning will also help in the implementation of the presidential directive.
A trail in most parts of Karamoja sub-region in the districts of Moroto, Kotido, Napak, Nablatuk and Abim. Your eyes are welcomed by people cutting small trees, logs on the roadsides or in the shrubs, smoke in the bushes, roadside charcoal markets, and people moving with small sacks of charcoal to urban centers as an order of the day. All trees are gone to charcoal burning, poles for building houses and trees for facing manyatas and tree stumps. This has resulted into climate change as rains have become scarce in the region, which has resulted into prolonged droughts, hence crop failure. Elders and leaders made a cooperative analysis on how the environment used to look like years back and how trees were protected among the Karamojongs and Pokots.
The place was full of natural trees, really natural trees. And when they flower, oh my God, you will see the beauty.
Makalio, Napedur, trees for tamarind, those trees which were fruitful were preserved. Then there were also types of trees which were also preserved for aggregate. This is the shrine where the elders go and do sacrifices and meet all the trees where they sit as the shade for elders.
They have cut along the river. You know, they knew that big trees, follow the river. And so there are a number of songs women, when they are associating, they would sing these songs crying for the, they will say, beating their chests, that, oh, it has cut it, it has cut.
They take their vegetation cover as security measures. And that's why if you come to Amudat and you're moving along the road, it's very difficult for you to notice whether there are people living around there, because you'll never see their huts, you'll never see people within. But as you advance entering deep into those thick bushes, or they to cut trees anyhowly.
Despite adhering to environmental conservation practices in Amudata district, some sub-counties of Lokris and Loro have started charcoal burning.
This is a sub-county where it's an entry point for the people from Bugisu. So that's where there has been a massive clearing of trees.
To face this challenge of charcoal burning, it's long overdue.
Something that cannot be explained and that cannot be extinguished in a moment of a twitching of an eye or by just a statement. It's quite difficult because one, there is hunger in the area. There is hunger in the area, and so some people have decided to survive on it.
Joseph Oko and Maureen Iga, UBC.
Now, 6 children have survived a fire outbreak at Half-London Primary School in Nakawa Division due to police quick response. According to the OC Chitintale Police Station ASP Cheyamwa Moses, the police firefighting brigade responded on time and served the situation.
6 students of Half-London Primary School, situated in Gulf Zone 12 in Chitintale Nakawa Division of Kampala, are now nursing wounds after fire destroying many properties, including walls of the school buildings. Ndaula Godfrey, the LC1 chairperson of Zone 12 Chitintale, applauded the well-wishers who joined the police firefighters to bring down the fires and save some properties of the school.
Bekitundu kino bakoze omulimu munene nnyo okulaba nga bazikiza omuliro guno olw'okuba nti obudde bubadde bufunda ate fire brigade ziba tezisobola kugirawo immediately. Abatuuze tubeebaza nti bakoze omulimu munene nnyo okulaba nga bazikiza omuliro guno. Abaana abafunye ebisago si bangi, sofa tulinawo abaana nga 6 naye nga ebisago tebikiisa si byamaanyi biyinza okujjanjabibwa ne banga biwona. Ebimotoka ebizikiza omuliro bisobodde okutuuka wano bambi bigezezzaako okwanguwa n'amakubo gaffe agamu si malungi nnyo bituuse n'ebigenza okutuuka nga omulimu gusinga obunene abatuuze bagukoze.
Moses Chalemwa said through the community policing, they were able to normalize the situation and rescue the pupils in time.
Though the people have saved a few things, some mattresses have been saved, some of their suitcases have been saved, though others have been spoiled. But people have tried to save some of their properties. Of course, the beddings, the beds, those ones are burnt, most of them.
He further urged the Minister of Education and the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to visit the
house. So the Minister also has to look at that. Another thing may be the possibility of the cause of fire. We had something that it could have been power, but we are still investigating. Investigations are going on. We shall talk to the owners of the school and the children and the people who came first. We read the statements and we carry on with investigation.
By press time, the police and local leaders were on ground to make interim assessments into the cause of the fire outbreak. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
Ministry of Health has discouraged women from use of Chinese peel because they contain high-quality hormone content and dangerous to human life. The Assistant Commissioner of Reproductive Health, Dr. Mugahi Pichard, made the revelation at a Family Planning 2030 conference attended by key stakeholders from around the world in Munyonyo.
Have been asked to desist from the use of the alleged Chinese pill for contraception following its high hormone content. The Assistant Commissioner, Minister of Health, Dr. Mugahi Richard, says they are to come out with a report with National Drug Authority on the origin of the pill.
It is an unfortunate story that we have the Chinese pill in Uganda because I call it unfortunate because the National Drug Authority that regulates the drugs that come in Uganda disassociated itself from its presence in the country. So it's here not licensed. It was here illegally. So the National Drug Authority put out a statement that women are using the Chinese pill, which is a high hormone pill for contraception, and it has side effects because the hormonal content is high.
In a meeting with key stakeholders, researchers, policymakers, among others, they exchanged ideas on how to collaborate with the solutions to the challenges facing family planning programs.
When we look at the contraceptive prevalence of now, we are over 40% now, based on our survey. Though we are waiting for the demographic health survey to confirm it. So if that's the national average. So if it's lower than national average, then it's already, that's what we categorize as what? It's low.
The Executive Director Family Planning 2030, Dr. Samukeriso Dube, says there is need to plan for the unseen issues that might affect uptake to family planning.
In this strategy, which call it an EPR, Emergency Preparedness, Resilience and Response, we know that there are issues of movement, displaced population within a country and from outside the country. We know the crisis that's happening in Sudan. There was a crisis that was happening in Ethiopia. I am from Zimbabwe. Many Zimbabweans are moving across to South Africa, from Malawi, from Mozambique, from Lesotho, etc. All these displaced populations, we need to cater for them when it comes to family planning.
The theme for the 2023 conference is Accelerating Progress Towards Universal Access to Family Planning. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Uganda has joined the rest of the world to mark the 2023 Environmental Day at Sri Sahajanand School in Bukoto. The occasion was spiced up by community cleanup and tree planting.
Learners at Sri Sahajanand School in Bukoto have sought time off Monday morning classes to mark World Environment Day.
It was fun because we all moved, we cleaned our school, we cleaned our compound, and it's good for the earth because plastics, they take long to decompose. Rubbish, it's like it causes bad smell around the community, so if we clean it, it will be better for our communities, it will make our communities clean.
It involved a community cleanup exercise highlighted by tree planting in the neighborhood, with the schools like Bukoto Muslim Primary School and Unit for the Blind one of the beneficiaries.
We reached a neighboring school, and in conjunction with KCCA we planted some trees there, and with joint efforts from the other school as well. The reason why we're doing this today is to instill in the students the importance of environment. It's becoming a big concern not only in the Western world but also within where we are. We need to let the kids know that it's very important that we have a very clean, very conducive environment.
We are so grateful. It shows a good picture. It also helps our learners to improve, to know the importance of keeping the environment clean, of keeping the environment with some plants, because where there are plants, there is life.
And for those regions where it used to rain, it is flooding, and for those regions where it is really deserted, things are really getting hot. And I'm sure this initiative of tree planting is also extremely important, because Uganda is also one of the best, I would say, the eco-preserving country. And fortunate enough, we are on the equator and we have so many advantages of our location.
This year's theme was Beat Plastic Pollution, with targets on ecosystem restoration.
As a school, we are coming out strongly to say no to plastics and pollutants because they degrade the environment.
The United Nations Environment Programme proposed this day in 1972, with countries like Uganda embracing it fully.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
MTN Uganda presents Saka Freeballs, King of the East, also recognized by the Kabaka of Buganda. Palazzo in Laves on the 9th of June at the Cricket Oval. 20k ordinary, 50k VIP. Tables go for 3 million shillings. For discounted tickets, use the MTN mobile money by dialing *165 *98#. For 15k ordinary and 45k VIP. On Saturday the 10th of June, Mbara Ajip Motel. Sunday 11th of June, Fort Portal Grounds. Friday 16th of June, Luwero Grounds. Saturday 17th of June, Ginger Trans Garden. Sunday 18th of June, Mubende Stadium. Organized by Savavulu Badam. Come and witness the best concert of a new generation. Miss at your own risk. Sponsored by Pepsi Cola, Century Property Royal Estate, Mango Safari, Protea Hotel, Radio Bow, and MTN.
We thank you so much for watching. In a significant step towards enhancing public investment management, the Ugandan government under the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has launched an online software called the Integrated Bank of Projects. The official launch of the IBP took place in Kampala, presided over by the Minister of State for General Duties at the Finance Ministry, Henry Musasizi, and marked a turning point in Uganda's approach to project monitoring and funding.
In the past, we would process, say, a borrowing for a road without studies, without a project. We would just respond to the needs of our people.
The Integrated Bank of Projects aims to streamline and merge all public investment systems under a single monitoring body, providing easy access to comprehensive information on public projects throughout Uganda. This innovative software represents a major leap forward for the country, as prior to its implementation, only a mere 10% of projects were able to complete the appraisal process. Since the establishment of the IBP in 2015, there has been a remarkable 37% increase in project appraisal rates.
This system is going to link a number of things. From the project inception, from the point of idea generation to the process of feasibility studies, to budgeting, to implementation, to monitoring, and finally, actually to ending the project. Everything is going to be automated on the system, and you are able to see, to fast track every action that has been taken at every stage in the project.
One of the key objectives of the IBP is to tackle the challenges associated with project funding maintenance and monitoring by centralizing and standardizing the management of public investments. The government aims to improve the return on investment for these projects.
And I think, was it last year or last year but one, I had a pronouncement by the Ministry of Finance indicating that no project is going to be allowed into the PIP unless it has been studied. And to me, that was good news.
To bolster the effectiveness of the public investment management system, several specific action plans were initiated in 2015. These included system reforms, like establishing standardized project circles, establishing capacity building measures, establishing country-specific parameters, and the establishment of a bank of projects, a reform inspired by Chile to prevent project duplication and resource wastage.
Because you can do all this and do good projects, but what the citizens want, the wananchi, is service delivery, really. Service delivery, they don't eat a positive NPV, net present value, or a good internal rate of return. That is rhetoric. They really need good service delivery.
The Public Investment Department has urged the Cabinet to pass the Public Investment Management Systems Bill, which will justify the necessary increase in the labor force to improve departmental performance. Through the launch of this system, government aims to ensure better resource allocation, timely implementation, and sustainable economic development across the country. Marion Awori and Wadulomak Arnold, UBC.
Government has invested over 100 billion Uganda shillings in small-scale irrigation schemes in Western region in a bid to support all-season food production to address food insecurity and boost farmers' incomes. Farmers have, however, asked government to fix the road infrastructure in order to allow them transport their agricultural produce to the markets.
Spills remain one of the major challenges affecting agricultural production, especially along the cattle corridors. This has oftentimes caused a reduction in food production, leading to famine and poverty.
The longer the dry spell, the longer it takes for pineapples to mature. It affects even the size. And once the size is very small, it affects even the prices.
Because we even fail to pay school fees for our children in the school. Our children at home lack food to eat, or they get poor nutrition.
Over 100 billion shillings has been earmarked towards the establishment of small-scale irrigation schemes in Western region through the Ministry of Water and Environment.
We have managed to implement about 57 small-scale irrigation schemes, but we have also the mega one in Mubuku, in Kasese. And government has been able to invest over 100 billion in these irrigation schemes. And we are seeing farmers adopting the technology and they are getting better productivity.
The small-scale irrigation project started in 2017 has led to improved and increased agricultural production from 62 to 86%.
Gardens of beans, gardens of groundnuts, gardens of maize, gardens of Irish, to mention but a few. The sky is the limit with this kind of interventions.
It will help us to plant crops during dry season, so that we can get enough food to feed our children, get money, pay school fees for our children.
The latest solar irrigation project to be commissioned is Masongora in Kabende sub-county in Kabarole district.
And this project, I want to assure you, will be copied across. This is like now a demo. And all of us must work hard for its success to make sure that all the other sub-counties are able to excel once this project goes to them.
Farmers have now asked government to fix the road infrastructure to ease transportation of produce to the target markets.
And as you know that Uganda is largely an agricultural economy, the roads are important such that produce does not fail to reach the market, both on time and the right market. Because when you cannot transport your produce, we all know that one of the major causes of losses in farming failure to reach the market.
The construction of Karuma Hydropower Dam, the construction of Karuma Hydro Generation Dam project in Kiriandongo district is nearing completion and expected to commence operations in September this year. The Assistant Project Manager, Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, Karuma, Engineer Paul Tumwine, briefed State Minister for Tourism, Martin Mugara, that there is Explorer North campaign to boost local tourism.
The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Uganda Tourism Board and the Explore North campaign have visited Karuma Hydropower project. The minister, together with the team, inspected the progress of the project.
So it carries 400 kV to Kawanda, and then 132 kV to Lira, and then another 132 kV up north to Oluyo. Regarding the power generation, we have already started generating from this plant to the grid, and the 300 megawatts I told you that is available to the grid.
The Assistant Project Manager noted that the project is nearing completion and currently Unit 1 and 4 had been commissioned, and by the end of Unit 3, 300 megawatts will be available for dispatch.
The remaining 3 units will be subsequently commissioned. You need about 25 to 30 days for each unit to be commissioned. So with the current pace, we should be able to have the full 600 megawatts completed this year. Of course, we had also the challenge of COVID-19, where we had a lot of our equipment stuck at the border and in Shanghai. So this caused a large delay. Otherwise, we should have been able to accomplish this feat earlier than what we're experiencing now.
State Minister for Tourism Martin Mugara says Karuma Hydropower Dam is one of the tourism destinations in northern Uganda and encouraged Ugandans to visit the project.
So yeah, I think we are doing this deliberately, like we've said, because of the COVID-19 pandemic that taught us that we need to focus on domestic tourism as of creating a resilient sector. But maybe let me just say this. When we were launching last time, I told you about the numbers that through COVID in 2019, we just had around 130,000 people visiting the tourist sites. Let's say the parks, the museums, the monuments, all this combined. Right now we have slightly at the end of 22, we had over 890,000 Ugandans. And we want this number to grow to over 1 million.
The team of over 300 local tourists proceeded to other tourist destinations in northern Uganda.
Residents in Kasese district are in panic after Lake Bunyambaka, known for salt mining, started to dry up. Lake Bunyambaka, a crater lake found in Lake Katwe sub-county, Busongora South, started drying up following poor methods of salt mining.
Lake Bunyambaka, a crater lake found in Lake Katwe sub-county, Busongora South, has no inlet and outlet and depends on only rainwater. Lake Bunyambaka is known for salt production, which attracts many traders. Due to human activities, however, the lake has started experiencing dry spells and extinction of salt. Lake Katwe sub-county LC3 chairperson William Asimwe says the illegal mining activities of using rudimentary tools and other human activities like charcoal burning along the lake shores has been the major cause of drying up of the lake.
Competition tuzi nebera nyingi era tebakoma kwekyo ne bayingira ddala n'otuzi otuwetubeera otuyingira munankanyi otuyingira mpaani zaabwe oba mu maziba gaabwe g'omunyo agakola omunyo nawo ne bakisaanyaawo.
The population increase and the pressure from the salt winners as a result of people wanting to have more salt pans, we have advised them that this should not really tamper with the sources of the fresh water of the springs that keeps on refreshing the water in the salt lake to be able to generate or to produce the salt.
According to the sub-county chief of Lake Atwe sub-county, Phil Pisijemba, the drying of the lake has already impacted on their tax revenue collection. The sub-county authorities had earlier attempted to close over 300 salt pans and arrested a number of people who had encroached on the lake land.
We are sure that if we maintain the old salt pans, the productivity here will also be high.
Some of the salt miners working at Bunyambaka Salt Lake attributed the issue to the weather and other contributing natural factors. Kasese District LC5 Chairperson Erifazi Muhindi has called for more interventions to save the lake.
We are saying the number of salt pans must be reduced to minimal in order not to destroy the salt lake, because the more salt pans they create and ending up to blocking the springs, the water spring that would bring in fresh water would mean the salt lake drying up, and this would mean they would be having no business.
In our financial markets, let's look at how the shilling fared against other currencies today.
In our financial markets this Monday, there was a fluctuating trend on the shilling against the dollar to open at 3,732.25 buying and 3,742.25 selling. Midday trading recorded an upward trend where the shilling appreciated to 3,726.58 buying and 3,736.58 selling. At the close of business, the shilling was on a downward trend to trigger at 3,732.92 buying and 3,742.92 selling against the dollar. The shilling further appreciated against the pound by a negative 0.07% compared to Friday's trading to trigger a 4,632.88 mark buying and 4,645.31 selling. The shilling also surged from 4,009.42 last week to 3,988.18 buying and 3,998.88 selling respectively. The Tanzanian and Kenyan shillings remained flat as the South African rand traded at 190.82 shillings and 191.33 buying and selling respectively. For UBC News, I'm Patricia Lukomwa.
We now go talk sport. Uganda Sports Press Association, USPA, has partnered with Kansai Plascon to promote sports in Uganda. In the 3 years partnership, 300 million shillings has been earmarked to award the best journalists every month, as well as a fund for USPA's activities.
Every month, Uganda Sports Press Association has been voting the best sports personality. Well, this has been enticed more. Apart from selecting a sportsman, USPA will for the next 3 years be rewarding the best sports journalists. In a 3 years partnership worth 300 million, excelling journalists will walk away with cash and a plaque, as well as recognize the best fun moments through the Twake campaign, thanks to Plascon.
Because we give so much importance to sports, we have associated ourselves with different sports like rugby, football, cricket, netball. And it was high time that we also now started a partnership with journalists. And to this end, we are now coming into partnership with the USPA, basically to recognize the journalists who are doing fantastic work in promoting sports, in highlighting the administrative issues in sports associations, and also marketing Uganda to the world.
The sponsorship will cater for administrative operations and the annual USPA Road Safety Campaign. The Journalist of the Month award, whose main purpose is to enhance the quality of sports journalism, will attract a cash prize of $600,000 and be chosen by that USPA technical team. Plascon has invested in sports, sponsoring the rugby team, the netball team, the Shikrens, cricket, among other CSR activities. Meanwhile, Black Pilots Rugby Club are the USPA sports personality for the month of May. Pilots, who won the now Special Rugby Premier League, collected 275 votes, beating Nick Netball Club, while Chibuli Table Tennis Club came third. Ngabo Amon, reporting for UBS TV.
After 2 grueling days at Kalanoga Resort, top-notch stars met again in the 2-day National Beach Volleyball Tour that enrolled 12 women and 6 men's teams. Last year's top seeds of Matthew Mwenyi and Daudi Okero reaffirmed their intention to dominate the men's category after overcoming a hard-fighting duo of Samuel Nwao Lewis and Ojangole Joseph in an exciting tie-break final. 2-1, 18-21, 21-15, 15-12. In the women's category, last season's seed 2 Peace Busenje, pairing with Catherine Ainembabazi, beat Eunice Amuron and Margaret Namialo 2-1, 23-21, 15-21, 15-8. Busenje and Ainembabazi were runners-up 2 weeks ago after losing to Nancy Chebet Sombey and Namara Habiba, whom they avenged this time round in the semi-finals. The president, Uganda Volleyball Federation, Sadiq Nasiru, graced the games and presided over the medal awarding ceremonies. The next event at Kalanoga Resort will be on the 24th and 25th of June. That brings us to the end of what we had for you tonight. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night and the week. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'm Atoa Ronald, supervisor